also teammate with the greatest drivers ever. I've been teammate with Schumacher and now with Lewis Hamilton. So I can really tell my audience, let's say, certain traits, certain characteristics of those drivers. And as I say, it's very, very, very few people, if not the only one, that I can really give some stories about what made them as great as they were or they are. So the win at Le Mans probably required from me certain qualities. For example, teamwork, because it's the race where you really work with your teammates. Because at the end of the day, it's the car that wins, not the driver as an individual. So you really have to share your knowledge. You really have to work hand in hand with your teammates. You cannot be really selfish. I mean, motorsport can be a selfish sport, and probably Le Mans is on the other extreme on that. You know, if you are selfish, it's very rare that the car where you take part it will win. Very important as well. I think I've always been good at Le Mans, and it's because I enjoyed that track very much. And you know, in life, normally the more you enjoy, the better you perform. And because mentally, I already straight away there was a good relationship, like good vibes, you know, in that race. And every year I've gone to that race, I always did very well, and it's because I was really enjoying racing on that track, and that type of cars as well. What is now the hypercar, at the time it was called Sport Prototypes or LMP1. This was a type of car I really liked a lot. Then as well, preparation. This is a race that you prepare for the whole year, and therefore like also attention to detail. I mean, it's a race that normally there's a lot of preparation before the race, and then things don't always work as you expect them. They will work, but the more you prepare for it, the more you are ready for the unexpected, because something will happen. In a 24-hour race, never everything goes smoothly. So the more preparation, the more you try to get ready for any outcome that may come up. When that comes out, then you probably react to it quicker. And finally, I would say consistency. It's not just so much pure speed. Of course, the fastest car over 24 hours will win, but normally the car that is more consistent, the car that makes less mistakes, the car that stops less to the pits tends to win. So you have to be, probably consistency has a bigger impact than just doing one very fast lap. Well, pressure is very present in Formula One, in Le Mans. So first advice would be, everybody feels the pressure. All your competitors feel the pressure. They may not show it, but the feelings you have, they have as well. And if you think about that lowers your stress level, knowing that everybody around you is feeling probably the same thing as you are. It can even be a good thing, having pressure, and I'll explain why. Pressure is inherent. It's part of doing something very important, doing something that you don't know what the outcome will be. So it's a good thing. There may be people that they will never experience pressure and that's fine. You know, you don't have to do a job that implies pressure. But when you're doing something that is very demanding, something that has where the outcome is going to have a big impact, not only on you, in other people, there's probably pressure implied into it, but that shows that you're doing something very important. So if you think like that, in a way, you can even enjoy this, you know, because you know you're doing something that you're going to feel something not everybody is going to be able to feel, this pressure. And normally when things go well, which sometimes go well, of course, the reward is very big. So this pressure, this suffering, let's say, it's going to come back into something very positive when the race finishes, for example. And as well, how you can lower your pressure, the more you prepare, because at the end, pressure is a consequence of of an unknown outcome. It's not knowing how things are going to work. So the more you prepare, the less pressure you're going to have, because you know you are ready for any unexpected. So it's like going to an exam, when you are young. If you have really studied the exam, yes, you may have pressure, but you're going to be kind of relaxed because whatever answers the questions there will be, you always have an answer for it. Whereas if you haven't prepared for it, probably you are a lot more nervous because you just hope they ask you what you really know. And then may ask you what you don't know. So in a race, it's very similar. The more you prepare for it, the more relaxed probably you are. And finally, there's certain little things you can do to lower your stress level. One, for example, because it's like a positive attitude. How can you have a positive attitude? Because if you are positive, you are less stressed, and music helps very well. That's why we drivers, we always listen to music, or we always have headphones before going into the car, because we're listening to music to try to take our mind away from what we're going to be doing next. And visualization is very powerful as well. How you can reduce your stress levels. This is something we work with a sports psychologist, and it works very well. From my career, I'm a very unique driver, not only because I won Le Mans and I was a Formula One driver in the past, but when I became a test driver for Ferrari, I have been the teammate of many world champions. Probably I've never looked into the history books, but I would be surprised, and probably I am the driver who's worked with most world champions, because I've been teammates with Michael Schumacher, with Kimi Raikkonen, with Sebastian Vettel, with Fernando Alonso, with Jacques Villeneuve, and now with Lewis Hamilton. So when I give some stories about what made those drivers very special, or I have a lot of experience in saying what makes a driver world champion, and even beyond that, so I've been teammate with world champions, but I've been also teammate with the greatest drivers ever. I've been teammate with Schumacher and now with Lewis Hamilton. So I can really tell my audience, let's say, certain traits, certain characteristics of those drivers. And as I say, it's very, very, very few people, if not the only one, that I can really give some stories about what made them as great as they were or they are.